Hi, my name is Amber Skeens, and this is my on-call notebook for cognitive linguistic disorders. So this is my multiple attempts because they keep getting too long and I can't upload to YouTube, so I'm going to try to have to make this a little bit quicker, and I apologize if I leave anything important out. But here is my introductory paragraph saying that all of my activities are culturally appropriate regardless of religion, pre-injury, education level, ethnicity, languages, etc. I've made all the activities so that they can be adapted to different age groups. You can use most of them for children or adults, and you can also increase the difficulty depending on the injury. So first domain I have is memory. I've included the slums, the MoCA, and the MMSE. Next, for activities, I would help create a memory book. Here's some recent memory questions. A memory game with manipulatives where you put objects on a table and then have them close their eyes and cover up one of the objects, and they have to remember what was on the table. Here are some word lists for immediate memory: 2 words, 3 words, 4 words, and 5 words. A memory game with picture cards where you can use an actual memory game board game, or you can actually print and laminate pictures. A word memory game where you match words instead of pictures. Here is one of the apps I found that I would use in the future. I did not purchase these apps, but here's some of the things that this includes: visual recall of scenes, objects, auditory recall, matching. Here are some things with increasing difficulty, where you read or they read a sentence and ask the questions, and then there's a short paragraph and a longer paragraph. I included 2 of those. Here are word lists with associated words that you can either have them repeat to you immediately or also have the time gap in between asking. This is another word list with words that don't necessarily relate to each other. Associated word lists. Here are some number lists. Learn to repeat. And I flagged one of my number lists, actually. This is what we use with one of our more severe TBI patients. He was also blind, so we had to get creative with some of our activities. I thought this was easy to track progress too, because we started off with 2 numbers with him and he struggled, and we actually got up to 5 and 6 number chains. And then finally, letting your client look at a picture from a magazine or book or something and have them try to remember, and then you ask yes/no questions, or you can adapt it to ask other questions as well. Next we have is attention. I included the cognitive linguistic quick test. It included multiple different attention tasks, so I thought it would be good. Here's a scrambled word list, a scrambled sentence list. There's 2 of those. This picture where they had to find multiple different objects. These could be used for children or adults. Sudoku puzzles, word searches, scanning exercises where they have to scan through the list and find certain letters. This one they have to find words. It's more higher level. Alphabet game where you go through the alphabet and they have to say a name of if there's multiple categories you could use for each letter of the alphabet, and then you can also add the memory component to that. Some crossword puzzles, which also could fit with executive function probably. I marked this for severe. Like this particular picture has very large differences, so it'd be easier to spot out. Then of course you could increase the difficulty from there. included another one. This one's categories, so things that are usually found in the bathroom. So they would just go through and find things found in the bathroom. Executive functions, I included the frontal assessment battery. I included a few here actually. This one, DCAS, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I liked that this was for children or adults. And it's a longer test, but it's broken into 9 subtests that you can break apart and only use what you need. And then this one was for kids only 5 to 18. It's also short, which is good for kiddos, especially if they've had a brain injury or something. And then activities, you state a situation and then they give you problems, multiple uses for objects. Here's another app called Problem Solve It. Has math problems, sentence completion, lots of different activities there. Another app called Verbal Reasoning. Again, I didn't purchase these, but I wanted to take note of the different activities you could do so I know for the future. This one's called All Critical Thinking, Identifying Problems, Predicting, helping them create a weekly schedule. This is a different graphic organizer I could use. This one was helping them create a to-do list and then actually working with them on how to do the activity and then check it off of their list. This one is a cross-out activity where they had to go through and scan and find certain things. I also included some breathing exercises for self-regulation and also some emotional, if they have emotional problem type things. Included some links for adults and kids. Here are directions I flagged, specifically the 1-step commands or directions. Clap, touch your head, touch your nose. I also included 2-step and 3-step directions. There's multiples of those. This one, I just listed some tasks that could be broken down into steps. Brushing your teeth, washing your hands. This one, you would give them different decisions, and you would mark if they would mark if it's a good or a not a good decision. This could be used for kids or adults and can be adapted. Next, for orientation, I included the GOAT, the Galveston Orientation and Amnesia Test. A lot of these are similar in that they're just kind of different questionnaires. Some of them are. So here's this one, just a simple layout. For here, I would help them create an orientation book, which would include the details of their injury or where they're at in their hospital or where they're living. Different things they can refer back to for specific dates and things like that. Then here's an errorless learning form that I marked for severe. Just basically, you state the problem, then they have to repeat it right after you to help prevent them from getting it wrong. An orientation task here would be to give them a calendar and just work on different things and teach them how. Then they would get a blank calendar to label the month and do those activities. I thought this would be fun if they're able to walk, take them on a walk and help them find ways where they can kind of orient themselves, where they are, what day it is, things like that. Here's another questionnaire. I like this one because it included much more detailed questions. Here's a calendar activity. Here are scenarios, and they have to answer the questions. And then some multiple choice questions revolving orientation. And then here's an activity where I give them an activity calendar, and then they have to be able to find activities they'd be interested in and find the time and place that they would be at. And finally, visuospatial. I included a few different assessments here too. The trail making test, the Burns brief inventory of communication and cognition. I thought it included a lot of visuospatial things. And, sorry. It's up there. Then for activities, I included some mazes. Finish the drawing. A palm tree. Here they have to follow the directions regarding shading or drawing. Complete the dots. That one has the alphabet. This one has more numbers. And this is the more simple number one. This one looks kind of fun. They have to match the colors down here. So this one would be red and so on. And here's a blank one. Had a connect puzzle where they have to connect the animals and not leave out any empty boxes. And then here's some trail making activities. Drawing the face of a clock and then labeling and then telling the time on that specific time. Copying sentences. This next one I marked for severe because they just have to point, so you just tell them to point to the 2, etc. This one they have to match the cupcake pieces, so where the bite was taken out of. Here are basically fixing the puzzle with the correct numbers, finding the difference, and locating these images, those shapes in the image at the side of it. And then for my articles, sorry, I meant to paper clip these for easy flipping, but here's risk awareness and secondary stroke prevention, reducing traumatic brain injuries in youth sports, using the public health model. This was a CDC article about how to prevent different TBIs. It includes motor vehicles, falls, sports. Well, that was a really good article. This one is the effects of aspirin as a stroke prevention. And then finally, stroke prevention in older adults with atrial fibrillation. So that is my notebook. Hopefully this will upload this time. It's a little bit shorter, so thank you.